That's right, guys. 1 week out from Michigan State football. So to celebrate, we're answering all your mailbag questions that you beautiful people have. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for tuning in to Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week or 6. Because this is a little bonus show today here on Locked On Spartans. We're doing it for two reasons. One, to celebrate 1 week until kickoff. And then number two, trying to raise a little bit of money for a great foundation, the Believe in Miracles Foundation. Now, what they do, who they are Michigan-based. They are helping Michigan-based families with critically ill children, well, just live some great wishes, whether it's shopping sprees, vacations, everywhere in between. Guys, this is one of the best foundations. So, hey, if you like this show, if you hate this show, regardless, it's impossible to not love this organization. I dropped the link down below in the description. Guys, if you're enjoying this show here, if you're feeling festive, you want to give a few dollars, guys, please donate to Believe in Miracles. Great foundation created by great people. Let's get on with it. We're going to start with Jack, who reached out to us at lockedonspartans@gmail.com with 3 questions. Now, this guy donated some money to Believe in Miracles and said, I don't know which question I want you to do, but oh, Jack, we're doing all 3 of them, baby. Let's go. Question number 1. Now, this is a good one. This really sets the tone for game week coming up here because, yeah, it's been a while since MSU has been in national prominence. Okay, hold on. It's been a while since Michigan State has been nationally prominent for a good reason, I should say. So the question was, what record would it take for MSU to regain respect at the national level? It has gotten to the point where I have friends that went to MSU with that were thinking that we are a 5-7 team this year and one of the worst Big Ten teams. God, that hurts my soul. I have stood firmly on the 8-4 prediction since early September. Would that be enough to gain back respect on the national level? Now, Jack, I got to say, for me, it does have to be 9-3 for actual everyone in the nation. Okay, eyes are back on the Spartans. Now, 9-3, that should, especially with this schedule, should get you in the top 25 of pretty much every ranking, AP, coaches poll, college football playoff ranking by year's end. So when everyone is just gleaming at that final rankings, okay, Michigan State would be on there. Now, 8-4, I got to say, it is possible to gain national respect. I'm sure there are some pundits out there that would notice Michigan State has had a solid year above what everyone else has expected with an 8-4 season. But you could also get national respect, again, because the schedule is tough. You do have young, exciting players on your team. The same way Florida got national respect coming into this year after just going 7-5 in the regular season last year. Now, I will say, their strength of schedule last year was harder than half of the NFL. The Gators were in a gauntlet of a season. Yes, MSU's schedule is tough this year. It ain't that tough though, but still. Look, if you get a surprising win at USC, you beat Michigan, you go to Iowa and you win against the Hawkeyes too. Okay, you're going to be getting some eyeballs, but also can you be 6-2, 7-1 going into November, those early college football playoff shows, and you see the Michigan State graphic? Oh my God, showing up at number 15, for example. Yeah, there is a route there. It is going to be very hard to start 6-2 or 7-1, but it's not just record. It's also, hey, can Childs and Marsh both look the part? Can they become this elite duo that their ceiling says that they can be? And can you have them both come back next year? That would be really hard for just even national pundits. Despite all the disrespect for Marsh, despite all the disrespect for Childs, even they can't look away from that if they both look great. Let's say Marsh is a 1,000-yard receiver. Childs, he really limits the turnovers. You know that what we have to look at here. But between the record, between getting a marquee win, yeah, Michigan State can get back to the national level, of course, but it will take some work. 9-3 is asking a lot. Even 8-4 is asking a lot. But it is possible, especially if Childs and Marsh can play with all their other teammates doing somewhat part of their job, playing it the way that we expect them to. Now, question number 2. Do you think anyone on defense this year will be an absolute physical bruiser when they make tackles? I would say Kendall Brooks was the last player on MSU's roster that would consistently wallop defenders and force fumbles. He had a great forced fumble against Western in 2022. He had 2 more forced fumbles in that season to make it a total of 3. Who will do it this year? Man, the safety position at Michigan State has been no stranger to some thumpers back in the day, right? I mean, Monte Nicholson, he was a great one. Kari Willis, another fine one. Xavier Henderson would lay the wood every once in a while. But for this year's team, I do have to go back to the safety position here because Malik Spencer, like there are some plays where it looks like he's trying to kill both people involved in that tackle, both himself sometimes, and then of course the person that's carrying the ball. Like he had some nukes last year. Now some of them were, met with a yellow flag on the field, but whomst amongst us hasn't gotten a little too excited to tackle a guy in the open field. I gotta go with Malik Spencer though, and he does have a good physical build. He's rangy, he's quick. So for the heavy hitters, I kind of always go to the safeties just because, they do have the benefit of being able to go downfield more times than not, more than any other position on the field, of course. But outside of him, I mean, I keep your eye on backup linebacker Marcelius Polium, 6'3", 240 pounds. I mean, that's a physical specimen. Brady Pretzloff not too far off from those measurements too. Ice Moa from BYU. And these are all three guys that I named that might not even start at the linebacker position this year. But yeah, as far as heavy hitters go, Malik Spencer's where my mind goes immediately, just from the FAU game last year and every game pretty much until the end of the season. I feel like he had a hit per game where it's like, oh my God, was that legal? But oh my God. Yeah, anyway. So the bonus question here from Jack is, what is your ideal way to consume Fireball? For example, I prefer my Fireball straight out of a pint that has been warmed from being in my pocket all day/morning. Would love to take a rip or a Fireball with you this fall. I would love that even more, Jack. Now, I got to say, the body temperature Fireball, because it's been in your pocket the entire day, like that tastes like an earned Fireball shot. You've done a hard day of work, tailgating, and then tailgating some more, living through the concourse of Spartan Stadium. You're there in the third quarter, you pop it out of your pocket, and right there, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, just the way God intended. Yeah, like that does taste fine. There's no Fireball that tastes bad. But my favorite Fireball, this might be a little hoity-toity of me, but I do like it out of a cooler on a golf course, served as close to 32 degrees Fahrenheit as humanly possible. Like that hits different. Just of all places, look, I obviously love tailgate Fireball. Perhaps a little too much some days. Who's to say? I don't know. Oh, God, Catch Me Friday. I'm so scared already, actually. But no Fireball hits better than golf course Fireball. Let that be known. Let that be known. Kyle is going to bet next with our next question here. Really solid one. Question for you. You've talked about how we need to see noticeable improvement for offensive line play against Western, or there will be serious concerns for the remainder of the season. My question is, what do you see as the best indicator of improved offensive line performance? Defensive pressures allowed or yards per carry from the running back? Also, side question, how many yards per carry for the Western game gives you some confidence/hope moving forward? I'm going to tackle that last question first. To have hope for the rest of the season, it's got to be, it's high. It's a high number that I have. It's got to be like 7 yards per carry, where I will like arch both eyebrows and say, oh my, we actually might be really good running the ball this year. Because look, against a team like Western, who's like fine, they've been voted to finish middle of the pack in the MAC. How about that for a rhyme? Just turned into Dr. Seuss out of nowhere. But they're a fine team, right? A fine group of 5 team, and you should have the upper hand in the trench battle against a group of 5 teams. So if they run for like 5 yards per carry, bordering on 6, like, okay, cool, great. That's kind of what you're supposed to do as the Power 4 team. But if it's up to 7, like, oh, okay. I'll pay a close attention. I'll have my eye really on that Boston College game as if it's not already going to be on it. But yeah, that would be hard to ignore if it gets up to like 7. So here is what I would indicate as a good offensive line day against Western. I do like pressures allowed. Now, last year against FAU, they allowed 6 against the Owls. Like, that's not great. It's not horrible, but like 6 pressures against the Owls. Okay, you could have done better than that against a group of 5 team. Now, yards per carry. That's an interesting one because we reference yards per carry as a decent barometer on the show quite a bit here. I mean, of course we are. We love that stat, but just in like the microscopic game box score, I just don't know if that's a really good indicator against a group of 5 opponent, right? Because last year Michigan State ran the ball for 4.8 yards per carry against the Owls, which is like fine. That's a good number. You'd take that number against a Big Ten team all day. But 4.8 yards per carry against the Owls was a little bit misleading too, because K'Ron Lynch-Adams, he did have that 60-plus yard touchdown run. That skewed the numbers. If you take that one run out, well, Michigan State ran for just 3.2 yards per carry. Now, I know that's silly, taking away a run that happened in the game. I'm taking away a reality, and I get that. If you're not all for that, not going to argue against that. But I just don't think enough context is added with yards per carry against a team like Western. So what I am going to look for, and what I actually did look for last year, I went back and I rewatched the game and I hand counted this stat. That's right, no Pro Football Focus, no box score. This was a hand counted stat last year. But it's how many times are our running backs getting hit behind the line of scrimmage on first contact. Now, I can't remember it last year. I couldn't find it in any of my notes, but last year, like, Nate Carter had 19 carries, and I think the number was something crazy along the lines of, like, 14 times he was hit behind the line of scrimmage. And, like, that just can't happen against the Owls. I mean, I don't remember the Owls going on and having a great season, either as a team or just defensively. Like, that was our first telltale sign that, this run game might not be too great. And then you fast forward a few games later, the Boston College game, Michigan State's yards after contact were higher than their yards per carry, meaning that they got hit behind the line of scrimmage a whole lot in Chestnut Hill. So that's what I'm going to be looking for is, are we getting at least a semblance of a whole against a group of 5 team? And I know that's like layman's terms, but truly, it helps to have your running back actually be able to get a single yard before he's met with the arms of a linebacker or a defensive lineman. I know, crazy. I'm asking a lot here. But no, that's a really great question. But that's one of the things I'm going to be looking for. Not the last time we're going to be talking about what we are going to look for against Western this week. We're going to be talking all up and down about this game, guys. Now, we're going to get to a lot more mailbag questions here. Quite frankly, I don't really even know how long we're going to go tonight. It could be another 20 minutes, could be another 40 minutes. No clue. But what I do know is that you guys need to get Rugiet ready out there. That's right, guys. You've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Now, Rugiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that could take hours, Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average, in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right, guys. And you can also read the reviews on their website. It's helping lots of people feel more confident and present in the moment. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege to get 15% off today, guys. That's Rugiet.com/LockedOnCollege and use promo code LockedOnCollege for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturer review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. Also, guys, FanDuel, that's right. Because you know what's coming? Everyone knows it. It's on your calendar. It's FanDuel Futures Day, guys. A brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling MVP, the launch shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks in, this is your moment. There's so many ways that you could tackle this, guys. Hey, I just said the launch shot division winner. One that I'm feeling kind of spicy about. Carolina Panthers plus 420 to win the NFC South. Now, I'm going to just, put a sprinkle on that one. But hey, you know what? If you're feeling something else, if you're one of those MSU fans that are also Bears fans, well, guys, yeah, that's going to be a profitable one if that hits. Guys, again, August 26th for FanDuel Futures Day. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bet right now because Futures Day is one day and one day only. It's FanDuel. Play your game. All right, guys, now let's keep cracking open this mailbag here, lockedonspartans@gmail.com, if you ever want to reach out. And more importantly tonight, since this is a special show here, it is a charity drive. We're trying to raise a bunch of money for Believe in Miracles, great foundation. If you want to learn more, visit their website. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it up on the YouTube graphic right now. But guys, Believe in Miracles, they do amazing things for critically ill children and their families in the great state of Michigan here. So let's move it on with the mailbag, because batting next, as I try to find my spot in my notes, it is MI to TX. Two-part question. Who is a starting running back heading into the season, and what can we expect from production out of the position this year? Now, MI to TX, I can only imagine that means Michigan to Texas. And against all odds, how about this for coincidence? Your running backs that are going to start this year, at least the two guys that are really ahead of the rest of the pack, as far as we know, it's two guys that have gone from Michigan. I'm sorry, let's try that again. Two guys that have gone from Texas to Michigan. Brandon Tollis, who right now appears to be, if you had to name a top dog, from what I'm hearing, it looks like Brandon Tollis is the top dog. This is going to be a split carry situation here. Mekhi Frazier, the other guy from Texas, both guys going into their second year at Michigan State. Those two appear to be a little ahead of the game. Now, that's not to say that Eli Tolliver out of Sacramento State won't get any run, and he's just been a total bust. I'm hearing that he's going to be more of like this third down running back, if you will. And one thing that he did come over from Sacramento State with was ball catching ability out of the backfield. I think that's something that the staff is want to get more in tune with, especially if the run game isn't going to be that great, because look, I do have a little bit concerns with the running back room. We did an episode not too long ago, just a few days ago, of what position groups is this fan base most confident in. And running back was either last or second to last. I can't remember. So look, Brandon Tollis, you want to talk yourself into him? And I think there's reason to. He's like 6'1", 6'2", like north of 200 pounds. He is a bruising running back. So I'm going to like him in short yardage situations. If he can't get the job done, then my God, I don't know if any running back can get the job done in short yardage this year. But we'll see what it's going to look like as a whole. Is it going to be over for Jace Clarizio? No. I think the true freshman will have some run too. I could see this game against Western being four different running backs, each guy getting at least 4 or 5 carries. But if you had to pick two on top of the pecking order, it's looking like Tollis and Frazier right now. Now, keeping expectation, like, production, what to expect this year, I would keep expectations somewhat low. And maybe we'll just be all pleasantly surprised, right? Now, I will say this about the running back position, and this is something that we reiterated last week too, is look, it's unproven guys. Mekhi Frazier, Brandon Tollis, they got a combined 14 carries last year. I mean, my reluctance to completely believe in them is part, like, we just don't know about them. They came in from high school. One was a linebacker primarily in high school. One guy was injured for most of his senior year. They were 3 stars coming out of high school. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not just, like, completely sold on the room already. But a decent offensive line can help, like, any running back situation, right? And if this running back, and if this offensive line is at least decent, which is all that we can hope for this year. I hope actually they can be good, but if they're just solid, that is market improvement from where this, unit has been the last few years. Maybe even more than a few years, maybe quite a bit actually. But hey, can you hide the blemishes of a maybe flawed or inexperienced running back room? I hope so. And plus, Aiden Childs, he does have his legs. They got speedy slot receivers. It's going to be a group effort for the run game this year. Now, Jer Bear, friend of the program, Jer Bear, writes in, how many Miller Lights you putting down at the sight of a sack by MSU? Against a Power 4 team? Like, if they get 2 sacks, oh my God, against Boston College? Yeah, we're going to be celebrating that, even if it's just like the second quarter of the game. Now, Western, again, kind of like how you should be able to run the ball, you should be able to get to their quarterback. Now, I should have wrote this down in my notes. This was easy to look up, but just trust that I'm close here on the number. MSU had 19 sacks last year. And I'm almost positive the number was they had 11 sacks against, who was it? FAU, Prairie View A&M. And I think those were the 2 teams. Maybe they got a few. The thesis is they got like 7 or 8 against all the Power 4 teams that they played. Not great. So if they do good against Western, cool, whatever. Against Boston College, in your opening Big Ten game against USC, especially on the road, yeah, sacks are going to be celebrated a little bit here because, oh my God, that's going to look like an oasis in the desert. Green and White Grit writes in, what parlay are you laying down for the MSU versus Western game? Now, the only lines and props out right now is Michigan State right now favored by 19.5. The over-under is at 49.5. So that means that Vegas is telling you they expect a Michigan State 35-15 victory. Now, I will say, if I had to pick one team total over-under, 15 is a hard number to keep a team under So I'm not going to go under Western Michigan 15 points. I am going to go over MSU 35 points. And I know that's brave. I know that sounds crazy. If you're an opposing fan that hasn't been following Michigan State this offseason, you probably think I'm losing my mind right now. But I think they've done enough this offseason on offense to have a really strong start against Western Michigan. So, look, for the game total over, I'm not going to touch that. So my parlay here is Michigan State over 35 points. Whenever that line comes out. When the props come out, I'm going to take a hard look at Omari Kelly receiving props. I do wonder how undervalued he's going to be. Just as, a Middle Tennessee State transfer to Michigan State, if his number opens up at like 49.5 for receiving yards, anything that or under, I'm going to take the over here. That's between the great things we've been hearing about Kelly in this offseason. Marsh is going to be taking up all the air from cornerback number 1 on Western Michigan. So I like Omari Kelly against Western's second best corner. And then also I'm going to have this in here too. Jack Velling, anytime touchdown score. Because I think they want to start our guy hot. And I think they will have the opportunities to start our guy hot too. I think they'll get in the red zone quite a bit next week. Really hope so. If they don't, we're going to have some issues here. But yeah, Jack Velling, I think that they want to get him started. And just to remind the fan base that, yeah, this guy's still good. This guy's still the cream of the crop of tight ends in this conference here. Now, a question, more money spent on Little Caesars or the raffle? I got to say, when I saw Little Caesars was in Spartan Stadium, someone snapped a picture of it during the Meet the Spartans event. I was playing baseball with my kid in the backyard, and I fell to my knees and started weeping. And he came up and said, "Dad, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And I looked at him dead in the eye. That's right. One of my 2 kids that gave me some of the best days of my life. But I looked them dead in the eye, and I said, the greatest moment of my entire life just happened. And I gave no further explanation. And after 5 more minutes of crying, I got back up, and I kept pitching to him. But, yeah, Little Caesars in Spartan Stadium, that's almost like something too good to be true in my life. That, something horrible is probably going to happen to me, and this is just my last little just coin flip my way of hey, you get one more on your way out. So who's to say what's going to happen after this game on Friday? But for now, Little Caesars at Spartan Stadium, the amount of money I'm going to spend there, it's not going to make sense. It's going to be repulsive, actually. I can't wait. Hunter writes in, how about this? I lined these up on accident. Over under how many times you will visit the Little Caesars stand per game. It's got to be the over under is 2.5. I'm going straight there when I walk in, no question whatsoever. I will be going there probably during halftime, and then after that, sure, I'll get the tummy rumblies. So, yeah, 2 slices when I walk in, 2 more at halftime, but that's going to round up to at least 2, maybe 3 visits. I'm excited to find out this answer myself, guys. It's going to be great. RBK writes in, we're going to get back to the field, guys. Enough of the pizza that I love. From what I understand about Coach Smith's offense, and he writes in, I may be mistaken. You will not be mistaken. It has always been a run-heavy emphasized scheme. With our current personnel, how much should we expect that to open up, or are these coaches too stubborn to change? I'm glad you wrote that because I was actually going to talk about that in the game day episode next week. That's right. I've already been starting to think about it. But that is a great question because you are not mistaken. Jonathan Smith, he said at the press conference when he came here at Michigan State, the introductory press conference, hey, we want to be a physical run-first team. And it's not just words. He backed that up at Oregon State. They were always skewed, more run than pass. It actually got so out of hand in the second to last year that they ran the ball 61% of the times. That was top 10 in the nation. For those non-math people out there, that's passing at 39% of the time. Now, with the weapons Michigan State has, and with the deficiencies possibly in the run game too, I do think they will be more pass heavy. Now, last year, just top of your head, if I said, what was the pass run split last year? You might say, oh my God, it had to have been 60-40 on the pass, right? It was actually 50-50, almost right on the dot. I think it was 50.4 for pass, but nevertheless, that was 47th most passing in the nation as far as that ratio goes, guys. Which isn't sky high, obviously, but it's certainly more than what Jonathan Smith is comfortable with and also wants to be. But here we are. Aiden Childs, great arm talent. Nick Marsh, okay, freakazoid wide receiver. Omari Kelly, this is a guy that could very well be in the NFL too next year. I do think that it will be closer to this 50-50 number. Now, if you're going to ask, is he too stubborn to change? I am confident in saying no. I do not think that he's going to be too stubborn. I don't think that this is going to be a situation where he's going to say, no, we're going back to 42% passing, 58% run, because damn it, that's the way I like it. And I know that because I saw it last year, guys. I saw that Boston College game. Now, if you remember that game, you remember that was a monsoon. It seemed like 15 inches of rain came down a Chestnut Hill. Those were not passing conditions. Oh, God, that was horrible. Now, riddle me this. They passed the ball 35 times, and they ran it 33 times. And that's not even taking out the runs that turned into scrambles from Aiden Childs. So design runs, even more. This split of pass to run was so skewed in an environment that suggested you should never pass the ball. I'm not worried on the staff being too stubborn and being too reliant on the run game. If they see that passing the ball is the path to victory, just like they did against Boston College, they won't have any problem. They will have no problem flipping that switch and be like, okay, we're just going to pass it again a lot this year, whatever. Now, I will say this. They did bolster enough run support here. Now, we're not talking just running backs. We're talking the slot receiver. They use the slot receiver ad nauseum at Oregon State, whether it was Silas Bolden, Anthony Gold. That was a fixture of that offense here. And then also, Aiden Childs. They started to deploy his legs on design runs at the end of last year. Worked out. I'm not saying it turned Michigan State into an elite run offense. They had more problems than just that. But those were some of the most successful runs at the end of last year. So can they string it all together and make something of a run game? Yes, they can. But their strength lies in the pass. I think it'll be, if you wanted me to pick, oh God, just right now, I would say, 48% pass, 52% run, for example. So there you have it. But no, I did love that question because I was thinking about that already to talk about for next week. And we will get back to that, but yeah, I like that. KC writes in, have I drank too much green Kool-Aid, or does Childs being out of nearly all Big Ten top 10 rankings just seem straight up insane? No, I really like it. I think it's weird. Obviously, look, I'm dressed in my finest Hawaiian shirt. I'm covered in Michigan State stuff. I bleed green and white. I'm obviously a massive Michigan State fan. But seeing Aiden Childs left off of all these top 10 Big Ten quarterbacks lists does seem kind of insane, doesn't it? No, I'm not going to argue that, he's top 3. I'm not even going to argue that he's top 5 right now. Like, he's got a lot to prove. Like, yeah, sure, I saw some growth last year. I also have seen a lot of room for improvement, too. But, like, I'm just going to pull out one top 10 list right here. And this is from CBS Sports. This came from July. Now, 1 through 10 really quick. Drew Aller from Penn State. Julian Sayin from Ohio State, that is. Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. Luke Altmaier, Illinois. Damon Williams from Washington. Nico Yamialava, if I'm saying that correctly, from UCLA. Dylan Raiola, Nebraska. Number 8, Bryce Underwood from Michigan. Number 9, Jaden Miava from USC. And then number 10, Dante Moore from Oregon. I'm like, him and Dylan Raiola had very similar numbers last year. Am I not mistaken with that? Someone wants to go fact check that and prove me wrong, please do. But they were not that far away from having the same year statistically. And I think Dylan Raiola had just maybe a smidge more help last year. And I understand it, true freshman, but Childs was also having his first year starting anyway. But Julian Sayin at number 2? Now, this is where it gets into the whole, like, how do you rank the guys? Because, okay, how much are they surrounded with? Like, Julian Sayin, like, he's surrounded with a wealth of talent, obviously. Like, it's going to be very hard for that young man to fail. Just like Dante Moore at Oregon, who did not have a great freshman year at UCLA, but he's going to be strapped with talent. I mean, so, look, I think I'd put him above Dylan Raiola. I'd have Jaden Miava a little higher, I think. I did like what I saw from him in just a little bit of action. But I would also have him ahead of Bryce Underwood, too, a guy that hasn't thrown a single pass in college. I don't think I'm going out of line saying that. But here's the other thing, too, with the Underwood thing. I mean, sure, Sayin, he's got great weapons. Hey, Dante Moore, amazing weapons. We don't know much about these guys, but we do know that they're going to be thrown to future NFL receivers. Is that the case with Underwood right now? Because every offseason, every position group, whether it is just a turd wearing a helmet, is talked about glowingly from Michigan media. This offseason, everything that you hear about the wide receivers is how it's not a great position. And that's from a media contingent that can only physically say nice things about their team. So if they're talking bad about the receivers, how bad can they really be? Now, I understand that you could also throw to a tight end. They got some damn fine tight ends over there in Ann Arbor. But, like, just between being unproven and I'm not sure he's going to get a ton of help immediately off the bat, I'd slot him up there. So, yeah, whether you want to slot Childs 5, 7, 8, whatever it is, he should be in the top 10 of the Big Ten quarterback rankings. I don't think that's too out of line here. Anyway, Alex writes in, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being extremely confident, how confident are you with our offensive line? I am cautiously optimistic at a 7. Every ranking from Michigan State fan for the offensive line has to be begun with that C-O word, cautiously optimistic. I am cautiously optimistic, and I am above a 5. I'm going to sit at 6 right now, though. I do think that this offensive line will be better than last year, I think. You can hear the confidence in my voice. We do know they're deeper. We do know that they got some really good transfers out of the portal. Matt Golden, that's one of the finest interior offensive linemen you could have found in the transfer portal. You don't believe me? Go ahead and look up his Pro Football Focus numbers from what he did at Wake Forest, guys. You also got Luka Vincic. Okay, that's going to add some depth. But, guys, last year, just to refresh everyone, and we will bring this up again this week, last year going into the season, you had one backup that had any college experience. It was Dallas Fincher, and then everyone else was new to the college game, okay? This year, you have at least 10 guys that are backups that have any college experience. Now, sure, some of that is just a handful of snaps, right, guys? But that's the blessing with so many injuries on the offensive line last year, is that everyone got their lick at playing some semblance of college football. Now, are every single one of them good enough to be a starter? Is there just like a 3-man battle for left tackle, a 3-man battle for every single position? No. But there is, you can hope and believe within reason that there's some competency behind these guys starting right now. So, look, I'm going to be at a 6 right now. The reason I'm not at like a full-blown like 8 or 9 is like I am interested in Connor Moore. The big transfer came from Montana State. When he did enter, he was the top offensive tackle transfer guy in the portal. And we talked about this with Steven Brooks. I believe in him. I think he's going to be good. The one thing I'm curious about is last year, out of 16 games, which is a crap ton of games, more than 300 just passing snaps, he only let up 11 pressures, which is like amazing. That's why he was so highly rated. But 5 of those did come in that last championship game against possibly the best opponents that they faced the entire year at Montana State. So is it something? Is it nothing? Is it going to be too steep of a climbing competition for a guy coming from an FCS level? I don't know. But if he looks solid, if he looks confident, competent early on the first few weeks before we get on that plane for USC, I'll feel a little better. I'll feel like at a 7, dare I even say an 8. But yeah, I'm on the optimistic side. It's a good thing I've never been snake bitten on this before. Jameson writes in, you can choose one drink to be on tap at Spartan Stadium, and it can't be Fireball. What do you choose? Oh, man, am I going to out myself here and say, like, Red Bull so I can stay awake after the tailgating? No, I'm not. I'm going to say a fun answer. I am fond of Goose Island 312. Like, that is just, like, the perfect beer. You can crush that on a golf course, a tailgate, a football game, a funeral, a job interview. You can just pound 312, and that runs through you like water. It's like a fine ABV. It's like 4 point whatever. Gets you coasting through the game. I'm not trying to just add on more 9.5% IPAs during a game. Like, no, I just need something to keep me at cruising altitude, keep me going somewhat to the finish line of the game. So yeah, 312 by Goose Island is what I'm going to go with here. And then, oh wait, no, this is a question I already asked. Jack Rogan, I'm sorry. Oh man, that's some good note taking by myself right there. More money spent on Little Caesars or the raffle? Oh boy, I'm going to revisit that question again. Yeah, it might be $50 each way. Yeah, it might be a smooth hundo just between the two of them. It's a good way to spend money. If anyone has ever won this raffle, please reach out to me at lockedonspartans@gmail.com. I'm not asking for money. I just want proof of life that someone out there has actually won the Michigan State football 50-50 raffle. So please reach out. And guys, before we let you go, enjoy the rest of your weekend here and just whatever is left of our off season. Hey, please donate. BelieveInMiracles.org. Fantastic organization. If you guys already haven't heard, me babble on and on and on about that. And I will leave you with one more thing. Iowa State Cyclones +3. right here, week 0. We got this, guys. Oh, man, guys, we are so close to game day. It's awesome. Get me to Spartan Stadium right now. Get you beautiful people to Spartan Stadium right now. I hope that everyone here can make it. I understand, obviously, that not everyone can, but, man, look, I've been blessed to go to some awesome games at Spartan Stadium, right? Like 2015 Oregon, the Penn State game where Matt Conklin slid at midfield after the field goal. Like, I was a student during the Rose Bowl season, but, guys, like, there is something special about opening night, regardless of what the season is. Beautiful weather, teams undefeated, campus is popping. Vibes cannot be any higher on opening night. So I just cannot wait to be there, guys. Cannot wait to be there with all of you beautiful people. You guys are the best. Now take care of yourselves. Love you all. Go Green.